Hi everyone. The timing of this next piece of thought leadership couldn't be more important, especially for UK businesses who face economic downturn and political change. The UK is set for the slowest growth of the G7 richest economies next year, according to the International Monetary Fund warnings. The IMF predicts UK growth will fall to just 0.5% in 2023, much lower than its forecast in April of 1.2%. So why is this important? Well, there are a number of specific factors that prompt businesses to enact cost-cutting measures, or should I say efficiency drives. Let's have it right. Cost-cutting is cost-cutting. There is no point trying to dress it up. The number of times I've heard businesses, whether I've consulted with clients or I've been working for my employer, that have tried to say efficiency drives. It is cost cutting. So effectively, the reasons are a company is in financial distress, there's an economic downturn on the horizon, or bluntly, shareholders or executives demand higher profitability. Now, this can create a potentially devastating effect on existing security programs or on those individual one-man band security teams who need that initial seed funding to start to do some activity. Simply put, senior leaders are often forced to make weight, whether that be due to saving a business from financial ruin, the pressures of the economy, or the demands placed on a merger or acquisition. Also, let's not forget the past 2 years where organisations rushed to get full workforces into a remote working pattern, and due to the speed in a lot of cases, security will not have been at the forefront. Trying to now implement stronger security controls for continued remote working whilst under pressure to reduce cost, and whilst the threat increases, teams are expected to do a lot more for a lot less. This amplifies the strain and risk put on businesses. So what are the challenges to obtaining a security budget in these scenarios? Well, security is seen as a cost and not an investment. In-flight and or planned projects are scrapped or deprioritised. Security leaders can often lack budget management and cost optimization experience. So what does this mean? Well, many security programs are run out of IT or from a technical standpoint. Personally, I started out as an accountant from my graduate days. I say an accountant, not fully qualified, but I did get to part qualification. Fundamentally, I hated being an accountant or trying to be one. Accountancy exams were not my thing. However, that early learning in my career really put me in good stead for my later years as a security leader. Being able to talk the language of the finance team and showing that I wasn't just a technical person, that I understood finance and I could relate to the pressures of the business when it came to money. It is one of those core skills that I believe every security leader should have going forwards. So on to the next point. Obtaining, maintaining or increasing a security budget is inherently hard in a buoyant economy, let alone in a business that is entering cost reduction measures. And let's face it, hackers don't care. They don't take it easy on you if you don't have any money or any resource. So, what steps can we take to influence senior leaders to allocate money for security activity? Well, let's look at what not to do first. Please do not allow security to become its own enemy by wanting to fix everything at once because an audit report says so or an external consultancy advises. Instead, it is important to understand the practical steps to take to ensure you have the best shot at getting budget that can make a tangible difference. One, for cyber defence, but also for business improvement. So what can you do? All too often, businesses are pushed down the route of implementing a particular security standard, and in doing so, this is how a project budget is obtained. Finance and senior leaders then become frustrated and annoyed when at the end, the team of professionals, whether it be IT, risk, security, sometimes legal, turn around and say, we have implemented the standard, now we need more budget to actually implement controls to make us secure. It's not a great starting point. Therefore, it is important to align security activity to the nature and the stage of the business and its strategy moving forwards. If you can talk the language of the finance team, then you're onto a winner. Simple things like OPEX, CAPEX, how budget allocation will provide an ROI over X years, impact of investment on depreciation, amortization, and how that will impact the balance sheet and the profit and loss. It demonstrates to finance and decision makers that you are a rounded business leader, taking the business into account rather than being singular in your mindset, trying to push decision makers into a corner because security is hot topic and high risk. So why wouldn't I get money? Again, back to my previous video on business buying, these scare tactics do not work. Also, it is important to ensure you identify and sync with the budget planning and setting timeframes. It doesn't always work, as it depends on the size of the business and the scale, but in large businesses especially, it is actually quite easy to find duplicate costs and existing spend that can be wiped off the cost base, such as duplicate software and looking at consolidating efforts. And finally, document a well thought out business case providing clarity as to the ask, the executive backing, and the expected return on investment. If you can put all of these steps together, then everyone will get a piece of the pie. It's that simple. Money will start to become available to focus on combating cyber threats. You will show how the business can become more efficient by driving transformation in the right areas using cyber and data clarity within operations and business processes. And you will create leadership confidence to invest in cyber and data to support the business through challenging economic times and political change. So, just like the last piece of thought leadership, I'll finish with my 5 top tips for success. Firstly, be proportionate on what you want to achieve. Don't try and boil the ocean and do it all at once. Talk the language of the finance team. Provide clarity on expected return on investment. No one likes to see security as a cost. It has to be seen as an investment because it is an investment. Give the business something first, effectively cost savings, and build and communicate a concise business case. So finally, here at Parker Neal, we're working with clients that are facing this very common challenge of trying to get budget to do security activity. If this topic is also a challenge in your business, then reach out. We would love to understand more and explore ways we can help.